Hello again. Welcome back to the North. In this video, I'm going to discuss centralized systems, or what is a centralized system, and how does it benefit you, should you use one. Well, there's several ways to keep fish tanks. We all know that, and I have leaned into centralizing my aquariums. I keep, South American cichlids, and I don't mean centralizing as in putting central South American cichlids in my tank. I mean centralizing as in picking a central location to link all the tanks together through. You set up that central location like a sump, and many of us already have sumps, right? So you probably already got a sump, so that's your centralized location. And then you just use the sump to send the water. Like me, I'm sending the water from the sump up here straight into that tank, and then I'm using gravity to send it down here into this tank, and then it is using gravity once again to overflow out of there down through this gray pipe in the back here. I don't know if you can see it, it's back there, into the sump. So there's just one sump pump controlling that, and you just and then I have a separate one sending water up into this tank. Now that's a 30-gallon, so I have the main sump going up into that, and it is circulating down into this tank. But then this is a 65-gallon, so I want to increase how much water is flowing through it, and I have an additional one inside my 90-gallon pumping filtered water straight in here as well. So this tank gets twice as much water as this one does, but it's also twice the volume. So they actually get the same kind of exchange rate, so to speak, and the water stays equally clean. This tank has all my filtration hooked up to it, and in this case I'm only filtering the entire system through this tank, and I'm doing that because filters kill baby discus, and I don't want that. So this is about just pushing clean filtered water through the breeding stations back into the sump where it's being cleaned. It's also being pumped from the sump back up into here, right, and being cleaned by the filters in here and all the bio stuff in there to help out. So that's basically, in a nutshell, a centralized system. Is it a new idea? No. Did I make it up? No. Do other people do it? Yes. Every pet shop that you walk into is likely doing this. They normally set theirs up in racks, like this one, and they just link 3 or 4 tanks in a row, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then that'll be it. Because if there's a problem with, pet shops exchange a lot of fish, so they could bring in a disease. So if they bring in a disease, they can isolate the disease tank in the isolated row of racks, and only those fish will need to be treated. So that's how they do it. Me, I'm at home, I lake them all together. There's downfalls. Downfall, I guess something like ick. It could spread through them all every tank, velvet, epicillus, all those things. But even when your tanks are separated, you bring something like that home, we tend to share equipment. You're going to stick your hands in one tank, you still infect all your tanks anyway. So I can still isolate tanks and treat them individually should I need to. So it's really not a big deal to do this, because that's really the only downfall. The upside is you turn a 90-gallon into a 90, plus a 65, plus another 30, plus another 35, and you end up with like 220 gallons in one system. And although I can't afford a 220 gallon tank, my fish are living in one. When it comes to air quality and cleanliness, I'm getting all of the advantages of 220 gallons. Now we've got the same thing going on down here. Larger tanks, more tanks, the same concept. And I beta tested it down here because I certainly wasn't going to experiment on the discus, right? If something went wrong, I'd be in a terrible loss. So I actually beta tested down here for almost a year before I deployed it upstairs recently, the centralized system concept. So I built my own overflows, just out of stuff I had laying around, and I just made it work. And it works beautifully, beautifully. So down here, we have 450 gallons of aquariums, and I even added a couple rain barrels to boost my water volume. And I use the rain barrels as the centralized portion of the system. That's over here, right? So all these tanks, those are 75 gallons. That's a 65 long. And here's these rain barrels. They're 60-gallon rain barrels. I think one's 55, one's 60. I just call them 60s. And because I fill them to the brim, like that one's overfilled, so it's probably 60 anyway. And this is how I roll. Let's get some more light in here. So you can see I've set up the rain barrels like two big old sumps. And then I put pumps in that are sending water up into this tank. I got a pump in that one, sending water through a Fluval FX6 UVC light. It's like a $150 kit. Well, that little kit, amazingly enough, if you run it at 400 gallons per hour, is UVCing, doing an amazing job down here on this 450 gallons. So I really like these Fluval units. It's doing a great job. Of course, I've also got individual UVs in most of the tanks. This tank and the Oscar tank. We're going to try and breed these parrots here. This female has been laying eggs, so I put a couple of fertile male polar parrots in, and we're going to see what goes on with them. But yeah, all these tanks are centralized through those two rain barrels. So what happens here is, let's say this is the beginning of the chain, because it's actually the lowest point. Evaporation is happening here instead of the barrels, and I'm good with that. It doesn't happen very quickly. It's a little quicker in the winter, barely moves in the summer. So you see there in the corner, there's a sump. It's sending the water up here constantly, 400 gallons per hour. Then it's overflowing here constantly at 400 gallons per hour. Goes down that white pipe into the brown barrel, which fills up, and overflows into the blue barrel, which fills up and overflows down into this tank. Right? And on top of that, like I said earlier, this green one comes up, pumps water in up here. That fills up, then it overflows out this little homemade overflow pipe I made. And that flows back out into this barrel. And then the tank on the other side of the wall, the Oscar tank, I reversed it. I draw the Oscar water from this barrel and I overflow it into this barrel. So the water is constantly exchanging between the tanks. All the tanks in this case have filtration and heaters. So all the filters and all the heaters are helping all the tanks, not just the individual tanks. Actually, this tank down here doesn't even have any sort of filtration on it. It just uses the barrels. And, well, I mean, it's still using all these filters, right? So everything works together, which offers redundancy, another bonus to the centralized system. All of these things linked together down here equate to 450 gallons of water, so that all the fish down here get to enjoy the air quality, so to speak, the breathing 450 gallon water. They live the water quality of life that a 450 gallon tank would give them. which allows me to overstock my Oscar tank, for example, without them skipping a beat. They're all as healthy as can be. Never any sign of disease. Perfect fins always, unless they damage them by striking something. That happens occasionally, but they don't bite each other, and there's certainly no fin rot. Silver dollars are a great indication of water quality. If your water quality is not up, your silver dollars will basically deteriorate very quickly. It's almost worse than discus with the silver dollars. So they're a good indicator on whether you got your filtration on point. You start seeing fuzzy spots all over them, and their tail, they'll get fin rot real quick if the water quality is bad. So very healthy tank. Not only that, even a happy flower horn in a community tank, that shouldn't be allowed. That's not supposed to happen. But water quality matters. These fish think they're in 450. Oops, I bumped my head on the ceiling. I do that all the time. 450 gallons of water. That hurt. That hurt. But that's what you get when you're tall. You get, excuse me, you get to bump your head like every day. It's not fun. Here's our little babies. Take a look at them. They'll be spread all over the place now. There's still tons of them, and they're growing beautifully. We might start seeing stripes on them soon. Let's get in close there and see if we can see any markings yet. Starting to look blue. Just need to get a little bit bigger and they can be safe than the other fish. They are. They're just mixed around the tank now. There's tons of them, but different times of day you'll see them come up to eat and get higher in the water. Right now, they're kind of hiding. So, but that's my video for today, just to show you what a centralized system's about. And yeah, it just really promotes healthy, colorful fish. It's a great idea if you can't afford a huge tank, but you want all the benefits of a huge system. Very easy to do. And it's safe. Like, I in the beginning I overflowed because I was, made a couple of mistakes setting up, but after that, it's stable. It runs. I don't even worry about it. I don't even leave a gap here because it never fails. I'm sure it will one day, but if it does, who cares? It's concrete floor and it'll just go down the drain. And I'm not even worried about it. So it's rock solid upstairs in my kitchen. No issues at all. Very, very easy to do. And if you've got multi-tank syndrome, this is the way to go. But that's just my opinion. I mean, but if you got a cement floor in a basement that has a drain, there's really nothing stopping you. And it's just win-win-win. Less water changes take longer. Like, I got to change out half the water down here. That's, like a 200-gallon water change, right? But I can do it probably every 3 weeks. I'm doing it almost every 2 weeks now because I was doing it weekly and it was just a waste of my freaking time. The parameters between week 1 and week 2 are almost the same. So now I'm doing, just to save myself time and hassle, I do the basement every 2 weeks now. 450 gallons of water. I mean, I could probably go longer. How long do you think the basement can go? 3 weeks, a month? I mean, I don't want to abuse my fish, but I'm just hypothetically speaking. But 2 weeks is totally fine now down here. So it's a lot of tanks. And then when I do the water changes, I do them everything through the barrels. I drain through the barrels and I fill through the barrels. It does everything. While I'm draining this whole tank, because it's the lowest point in the system, when I'm draining the barrels, this tank will empty. It'll drop, then the barrels will drop. And then when I fill it up, I just drop the hose in the first barrel, and it'll fill that one, and it'll fill that one, and it'll fill this tank back up. I don't have. It's the easiest thing. I change out 4 huge tanks in one corner, just like that. You want to make your life easier? Consider centralizing your tanks. It's real easy. You got a lot of space. It doesn't even take a lot of space. One rain barrel will do it for you. And it's upright water volume. It's not like a tank. It doesn't take a lot of space. You stick it in a corner, and you're off to the races. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a nice day.